Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Swastika and today we will be going through the current affairs for August 10 and 11. But before we begin, let me just tell you a little about myself. So I have done my masters in political science from Jawaharlal Nehru University. I have also done my BA honors in political science from Delhi University, and in case you like my content, please don't forget to press the red button, the subscribe button. Please don't forget to subscribe, and in case you have any doubts, please mention them in the comment section down below. So as usual, there are going to be two parts to discussing the news. One is going to be short news, which is relevant from the perspective of answering objective questions, and one is going to be long news, which is relevant from the perspective of answering subjective questions. So, in short news today, we see that the PM has launched a submarine optical fiber cable which connects Andaman and Nicobar Islands to mainland India. This project is going to basically lay down 2,300 kilometers of submarine cable, which is going to connect major chunk of the islands from Chennai to Port Blair to Little Andaman, and Port Blair to Swaraj Island. So this means that this is going to get connected. Port Blair, which is right here, so this is the zoomed in version, is going to get connected to Little Andaman through an optical fiber cable, and Port Blair is also going to get connected to the Swaraj Island. So as you can see, this is India, these are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and right in the middle there is a lot of sea, which is the Bay of Bengal, following which it's the Indian Ocean, and this connectivity is being done by submarine optical fiber cable. So I just thought that this was kind of interesting to read because it makes a lot of things easy. The second piece of news we see is that the Oslo Peace Accords of the 1990s gave the Palestinians self-rule in parts of the West Bank. So the Oslo Accords are a series of agreements between Israel and Palestinians signed in 1990s. Oslo I 1993 is formerly known as Declaration of Principles, established a timetable for the Middle East peace process. It is planned for an interim Palestinian government in Gaza and Zemisho in West Bank. Oslo II, officially called the Israeli-Palestinian Interim Agreement on West Bank and Gaza 1995, expanded the Oslo one. So the basic idea of having these Oslo Peace Accords was to have a series of agreements between Israel and Palestinians. So I just want to show this on the map so that it's more clear. So this gray area is entirely Israel. This tiny strip right here is Gaza, and this is West Bank, the green area. Jerusalem is right here between the green area and the gray area. West Bank and Israel, it's Jerusalem. So we are going to, in this piece of news, quickly go through the Oslo II agreement. So this basically includes the provision for complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from 6 West Bank cities and about 450 towns. The timetable for the election of Palestinian Legislative Council. The interim pact was only supposed to last 5 years, while a permanent agreement was finalized, but it has been tactically rolled over for more than 2 years. So the question of Jerusalem was left undecided on the Oslo Accords. So the entire fight was basically over Jerusalem. Maybe I can discuss that in detail sometime later, but it is a religious site that Muslims and Christians sort of hold close to their heart. So there is a fight that is going on for that, and obviously to negate the Israeli settlement of military troops on West Bank soil. So they basically want a two-nation theory to proceed, according to which Jerusalem would become the capital of West Bank and Tel Aviv would become the capital of Israel. So in the next piece of short news, we see that the defense ministry is to impose and impart embargo on 101 items to boost indigenization of defense production. So, an import embargo basically means that there is going to be a ban on or restriction on 101 items, which is obviously being it's a protectionist measure. It is in line with the government's idea of having protectionist policies because through this the indigenization of defense production is going to take place because 101 items are going to get banned. Okay. So the next piece of news we see that PM Modi has launched a new central sector scheme of financing facility under the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund of rupees 1 lakh crore. So an agriculture infrastructure scheme of 1 lakh crore corpus is being put forward by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a medium to long term financing facility. It is a facility for investment of post harvest management infrastructure and community farming assets through interest subvention and credit guarantee. So the idea is to basically give long term to medium term financing facility and for post harvest management infrastructure. So the duration of the scheme shall be from 2020 to 2029. So it's a 1 lakh crore corpus scheme for 10 years, and the basic idea is to sort of have a financing facility. So in this we are going to, this is part of the subjective news, and in this we are trying to understand how we can revive the economy. So these three steps are obviously given to us by Mr. Manmohan Singh, who was the former Prime Minister of India. So he is saying that the government should ensure people's livelihoods are protected and they have spending power through a significant cash assistance. So he's saying that give people cash, increase the liquidity in the market by ensuring that the livelihood of people are protected. Secondly, he's saying that adequate capital should be made available for businesses through government-backed credit guarantee programs. Third, he's saying that the financial sector needs to be fixed through institutional autonomy and processes. So he's saying that right now it is not a bad idea to even borrow money from global institutions because this is a time of a global crisis where the entire world is witnessing an economic slowdown, a recession of sorts. So, to increase the liquidity in market and to ensure that the people's livelihoods are protected, it's okay for the government to even borrow money from global financial institutions because India has had an impeccable record of paying back the borrowings, and B, because it is a global crisis, the entire world is going through it, and it is not going to be like 1991, in which only India was affected. So, we should definitely do it. Thank you for watching, and in case you like my content, please don't forget to subscribe. That's going to be great.